And I quite like the, well, what you've actually got here is almost like different octaves of colour. So that here you've got the yellow, the green and the red, but a much lighter version. The green, was it yellow, green, blue and red, yeah. Well, here you haven't got the yellow, well you have actually kind of a browny colour I suppose, but you've got the red, the blue and the green, and you've got a kind of variant of the yellow down here again. And that to me is quite an unusual colour. I wasn't expecting this to be there in relationship to the other colours. And somebody mentioned that recently, I don't know who I was talking to, but was saying about the unexpected quality. You come across the colour you're not expecting to be in juxtaposition with another colour. Right. This is the toy cat. An early one again, quite early. I quite like the monumentality of the cat.
You always say early, but this is early for this new period.
Early, I mean in the journey that I've taken this year.
Yeah.
That's the same with all these paintings. So this was actually February, very early on in this whole process, which started at your house, Edgeworth, with a painting I did there, which, having not painted for over a year, I just felt that I wanted to do something that was freer and more dynamic, and I wouldn't be able to do it here because I'd be in the habits that I'd been in previously, and I felt at your house in a different environment, and the environment of your paintings, which are very freely painted. I could get away with it. I could do something I wouldn't normally do. So what I did, and then I came back home and I had to kind of duplicate it and extend it further. So for me it was quite a struggle. I didn't know where I was going. I knew the feeling that I wanted to express. I didn't know what means I could adopt to express it. And finding them, the right ones, you know, for me, was quite a journey. I'm not quite sure I did it at all. But now when I look back, I think, it's weird that I used to paint the way I used to paint. So this was fairly early on in the process, and I realised that I'd achieved a real solidity. It was like, although it's a toy cat, it almost looks like rock. And I didn't want that. I wanted something more fluid. So that, I suppose, a lot of it is discovering things that weren't quite right, that were interesting themselves. They could be ways that I could have followed and developed, but I didn't want to. It wasn't right. But there were certain things that always given me clues, like a little bit of variation in the colour here was a sort of small clue, maybe a little bit of variation in the colour here. The fact that I dropped the line, you know, they're all little clues. Let's try expanding this clue or that clue and seeing if that's going to be the thing that leads me to the buried treasure.
I'm recording.
Yeah, I had quite an in-depth conversation with Joe Machine the other night, and we seem to have effectively gone completely opposite directions in terms of technique, because he was initially much cruder in his painting and has become progressively more refined, polished and detailed. Because I started off more like the detail and polish, and I've gone much cruder, more painterly. But the interesting thing is, when we talk about what we're doing and why we're doing it, we're actually saying the same things as each other, which is basically to connect with and express what we call a spiritual level, which is not mundane and everyday and personal in that sense, not necessarily, you know, the deeper emotions, but something that transcends that, that's to do with humanity in the bigger picture, to do with something with time in the bigger picture, historical. So he's, for example, chosen themes like the Book of Genesis and the stories in there to embody that. What I ended up saying to him was that I think my picture is of the soul confronting the spirit, and the energy that has happening there. Like when you engage deeply with emotion that you're feeling for life, perhaps for people, or a particular person quite often in a relationship. But also what's coming into that, and there's quite a lot of passion and energy there, what's coming to it is a bigger picture of historical, a kind of an energy that surrounds us all, which you can call consciousness, because the only reason we know anything is because we have consciousness. We are conscious, and everything feeds into our awareness, our sense of being alive, of being cognizant of things. We don't think about that, we take it for granted that there's all these things around us. But actually there's something in the middle of all this experience that is the knower that knows it's all happening, which I've termed consciousness. So this consciousness can operate on a very trivial level, like squabbling over the type of cheese or something, or it can happen on a bigger level, looking at one's life pattern and meaning, and it can happen on a bigger level still, talking about humanity's meaning. You know, why is there this planet with all these people, and what is the meaning of this great pattern of history, this great story, narrative that we're all part of? Empires have been, empires have gone, and we're part of that, or the whole planet, the whole of the known evolution of the universe. So you've got this massive concept and understanding, and we've got this very down-to-earth making tea level as well. And for me, my painting is now showing the individual in the bigger picture. And there's a tremendous energy there. I think it's something about, Van Gogh was talking about those kind of things and expressing that kind of energy in a way that was appropriate for his time, and I'm trying to do that for my time. We need to be put in touch with that, I think, to give meaning. And things like X Factor, quiz shows, talent contests, Britain's Got Talent, whatever, these things on TV give a momentary glimpse to it in a way, because they raise the level of sort of excitement, but leave us in a way feeling a bit sort of empty-handed because it's not for us somehow, or it's a false way of doing it. What I'm trying to do through painting is essentially give people a form of meditation. It's like you can use that to penetrate through to something or remind you of something inside, so it's a catalyst. And if the art's done well enough, what the artist is experiencing, the artist has to experience it first of all. The artist is only going to put in, the artist is a person that's experiencing something. They're only an artist when they make the art out of that experience. There's other things they can do with it, they can write a book with it, but if you're an artist you make the art out of it. If you do that well enough, then the person who is experiencing the artwork will resonate and tune in to what's there in the painting, which will be something that they're tuning into in themselves as well.